Hello again, my friends. Welcome back to Second Life and the virtual urban guru cafe. We hold teachings here, so to speak, every week, which can be found on the websites. Today I'd like to talk about the qualities that help in spiritual seeking. Sort of the ability to circumvent the roadblocks. There are really four general types of roadblocks or qualities one should have if one is to truly be able to grasp what's being pointed to. Many of these are naturally there. There's a natural sense that there's not something, that there's not quite, something's not quite right, that something in, there's a deeper truth to reality that I overlook in my day-to-day flipping from one thought, from one activity to the next. This seems to be something that resonates in spirituality. And sometimes we're very frustrated because we are reading or listening, inquiring, but it seems like we may arrive at a intellectual understanding and we seem stuck there. So we will record a few videos to address some of those things. And the first really is the capacity to understand relativity. That the nature of the world is relative. The nature of appearance is relative. This is very important to understand. We take everything as absolute. Take what we see as absolute reality. The sun seems to go across the sky. It rises in the east and sets in the west. So it appears to move across the sky, yet we know that it doesn't move. We have no problem saying the sun rose and set, the sun is moving, but we really know that it doesn't. We're caught by that appearance. We suspend reality in preference for the appearance. Therefore we say the sun is rising and setting, but it's not. The earth is moving, and that gives the appearance that you are stationary and the sun is moving. And when it's pointed out, that's just a little insight there, a little epiphany. Oh, yeah, I already knew that. This is sort of the flavor of self-realization. So it is taking appearances as absolute, taking reality as we know it as absolute, and overlooking that it is entirely relative, that it is entirely made up of relativities. And the concepts are built upon this relative nature of reality. So we go through the seasons of the year. We're in winter, then comes spring, then comes summer, and then comes the fall, and back again comes winter. And we really get caught up in that as reality, that we are in spring, but we're not in anything. There is no such thing as spring, or fall, or summer, or winter. There's no such thing. It's just a concept. Yet we can't wait for spring. We can't wait for summer. There's nothing wrong with the concepts. They are useful. They're useful in communications, but there is no such thing as spring or fall. So you're always stuck on the relative, and at some point, sort of mature spirituality, so to speak, we start to see the relativity of everything. We start to see how everything is dependent on a perspective. Because the paperclip might seem very small to you, but to an ant, the paperclip may be a building, as large as a building. We believe that paperclip to be as it appears, and we discount that it is only appearing that way to us, and it appears differently to others. There's also the inherent in that is the idea that that experience itself is a solution to my problem in spirituality. That the experience is necessarily in need of modification or manipulation. That the experience should somehow change and should be a better experience. And that's what we are always seeking in spirituality. But any experience is relative. Even whether it's a good or a bad or a better experience is entirely relative. Better than what? If that experience comes, then it is compared to other experiences, and then it's said that this experience is better. But that's entirely relative. If a guru then comes later and says, that's not it, you need a different experience, there's another experience here that you haven't yet had, then you're back on the search. Then that experience that you once thought was the bliss is now discarded, and now you're off to another experience. So it is really that I am ultimately not accepting reality because I have relativity taken falsely. I'm applying absolute to the relative every time. And we come to the point at some point in spirituality where we can recognize that, where we see that that's really the reality underneath what we take reality to be. And when we start seeing the relative nature of all experience, then the bottom starts falling out. We start seeing it everywhere. We start seeing the relativity in everything. And in that leads to a natural dispassion, detachment. In that it leads to a natural holistic view of what's going on, because we see that it is just relative, that it can be negated. And we will talk about this dispassion in another segment. Love to you.